All right, here we go, guys. What's up? Colton, Lindsay here, coming at you live. We're going to be on the call today with Danny Morel. I am super stoked because I have been trying to get this interview for a while. You guys might have seen Mr. Danny Morel on the interwebs before. The guy is crushing it with his business in Tarot Real Estate. So we're going to get him on the line here just a second. Thanks for being on. Hi. Make sure to hit that share button immediately. Let's see if we can get him on here. Whoops, I'm flipping through some screens here. Let's see if I can find Danny's face. Here we go. All right, just wait for Danny Morel to hop on. As soon as Danny hops on, we're going to be talking to him. What's cool about Danny Morel, check him out in Tarot Real Estate. There he is. He's just crushing it with his business. And I wanted to learn into the conversation right now. Danny Morel, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for being here.
Hey, Colton, what's going on, man? How are you?
Oh, you know what? I'm so fucking good. I love my life today. So thanks for asking, my friend. So real quick, will you do me one quick favor? Is it cool if you do a favor? Ask these guys to just share this stream because I believe that you're going to deliver so much value today that there are plenty of entrepreneurs and realtors that can learn from you. Will you ask them to share real quick?
Yeah, everybody, if you can, share this stream. As a matter of fact, I want to share it. Hang on one second. I'm going to share this to my group. I'm going to share this to Leverage. I'm going to share this to Intero. I'll share it everywhere. How's that?
Hey, share it all over the planet because you got some value to add today. So appreciate that, my man. So real quick, as you're doing that, in 90 seconds, give us the short Reader's Digest synopsis of where you were and where you're at today.
Laying in bed, scared, afraid to try anything, shivering with fear, without any food in the refrigerator, to today. We run actually 5 businesses, 5 companies. The largest one is obviously my real estate brokerage, Intero Real Estate Services. And really, really excited about Empire University because it is absolutely exploding. So yeah, things are going good.
Awesome, man. So you're freaking just crushing it here. And so you mentioned the word fear, right? And fear is one of those away values. What was your definition or your rule for fear originally when you were shivering, and what did you shift in order to just explode?
Yeah, that's a great one, Colton. I think the biggest thing that happened was that I took responsibility. I think I'm a big, if you follow me on social media, I'm a big believer in the fact that there's 2 parts of us as human beings. The first is the ego, and the second is the spirit.
Yeah.
And I learned this a couple of years back from a gentleman by the name of Daryl Rutherford, who this concept changed my life. And essentially, ego's job is to kind of keep you safe. Its job is to keep you protected. And the spirit is the one inside of us that, as we watch different motivational speakers and think about the future, so forth and so on, gets really excited, gets pumped up.
Yeah.
Right? And so the other thing that the ego does is it deflects responsibility on everything going on to your life to somebody else. Everything is somebody else's fault. It's never your fault, right?
Yeah.
And so the first thing that I had to do was, fear is the biggest trick of the ego.
Yeah.
Right. And essentially what I had to do is I had to realize that it was a trick. And then I had to realize that I was at where I was at in my life 1,000,000% due to my responsibility and my actions. I couldn't blame the market. I couldn't blame anybody else because no matter what happens, and for all of you that are listening, no matter what happens, no matter what successes you have, no matter what failures you have, it ultimately is all a reflection of your thoughts, your actions, your desires, and your habits. And so once I finally got that, it was almost as if, kind of like a light bulb went off and I was clear again. And then I just started from ground one. I remember, I'll never forget, I just wrote down goals. I grabbed a piece of paper, just like I teach everybody to do. And I teach everybody baby steps. Everybody in real estate today wants to go from 10 deals to 130 deals.
Yeah.
And it's just not realistic. So goal number 1 for me was to be able to afford rent. Goal number 1 for me was to be able to pay everybody back. That was goal number 1 for me. And so, you know, I was literally so down and out that people had lent me money, close friends, my friend Oscar Mendoza, we still joke about it to this day, my in-laws, so forth and so on. And so I did that. And goal number 2 for me was I had some debt at the time, and that debt had held me captive. And it was a big factor of my fear, and I wanted that done. So I just went out and I paid it off completely. And goal number 3 for me was go and be able to afford our own place. At the time, we were living with my mother in a small little, like 1-bedroom, like downward.
What year was this that you were doing
this
that?
was 2009.
Okay. So 9 years ago.
For us. Yeah, 2009 for us. And then so I remember it was a little townhouse right here in Rancho Cucamonga, and we just kind of like finally were able to like afford a place. And then, you know what, Colton, what starts to happen, and this is what people don't realize, is as you start achieving small little baby goals, right? Little things that you say to yourself, man, you know what? Okay, let me go do that. And then you work hard and then you actually do it. All of a sudden the spirit starts to wake up and go, oh, okay, wait a minute. Things aren't that bad. Like I really can do what I say I'm going to do, you know? Yeah. That's the biggest reason why people get jacked up in their minds, Colton, is because they dream of something and then it doesn't happen and they go, wah, wah, wah. Yeah. Okay, well, I guess that's not for me.
Well, yeah. So let me ask you this, guys. If you guys have ever had this debilitating fear that kept you from moving forward, or you even feel fear, anxiety, or doubt, drop a 1 in the comments down below. And also give me some reactions for Danny, and just being open about like, hey, listen, everyone deals with this, right? Dan, have you ever met a person that hasn't had to face fear?
No, it's just a normal part of life. As a matter of fact, the more that you stretch yourself and the more that you want to grow, the more that you're going to have to deal with it, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then the question is what are we going to do when we face that fear? So what is it that you do in order to because fears, I'm guessing you still have some uncomfortable feelings that you meet along your journey today. What are some of the things that you do to deal with that, to just squash that fear and to move forward with action?
Yeah, that's a great question. Look, I'm at a place now where I hate saying it this way because I don't want it to sound the wrong way. I'm just not afraid of too much, because I've kind of reinforced my belief. You know, now it's more about, I'll be honest, Colton, I see the game I'm playing is such a bigger game that when I think of what I want to accomplish in life, and when I think of the amount of people that I want to help in life through our coaching and through our seminars, so forth and so on, it's now for me not about fear. It's all about how can I make sure that I fulfill my life's promise,
your destiny.
That's it. You know, and specifically, like, look, whether it's the real estate industry or outside of that, I don't know, man. I just walk around and I just see so much potential in so many people. I just see that so many people are stuck in their own head, and I've been pretty blessed to figure out how to kind of get unstuck, and I want to help people get unstuck, basically.
Yeah. So moving from your head to your heart and acting with that spirit self, that place of love, and hey man, let's do it. Let's serve, let's create, let's grow. I love that energy. So looking back, when you're in that 1-bedroom apartment, you couldn't, I mean, you just want to be able to pay your rent and made those goals. What did you have to do to just get started, like to break through? Because today you've obviously expanded your comfort zone to a much larger game. What did you do to just kick it off?
Yeah, I went back to basics. You see, it's a little unfair for me to say I went from not being able to afford my rent to 40 million plus in revenue annually in 7 years or whatever it was, or 6 years, because it took much longer than that. You know, it's kind of like what happened to me financially, but I had a good 10 years worth of foundational mindset work, sales skills work. I mean, to this day, you could put me in any selling scenario and I could sell anything to anyone. And that there's a level of confidence that comes through that. I tell our agents and our coaching clients that all the time. And I find that it's the one thing that people won't do. Like, people will not understand the power of learning how to communicate effectively, and how that could increase your conversion ratios, your incomes, your profitability, your leadership capacity. And that's the one thing that kind of boggles my mind a little bit, is that I spend so much time telling people, please just learn what to say and how to say it. And they go, and nobody actually listens. So I guess I just got to tell millions of people to get a couple hundred to actually do it, you know?
Yeah. So listen, guys, drop an amen in the comments if you get now that, hey, learn from Danny how to communicate, because communication shifting, right, Danny? Communication is shifted from
totally.
10 years ago. And it's not necessarily that you can't communicate. It's just the linguistics of it. There's new ways and new patterns that you've got to be able to tap into, right?
It's so interesting you said that. June 6th, I had always had this passion in my heart to get back into the coaching industry, because what started happening was through social media. So many people from across the country started hitting us up for help.
Yeah.
And how do we go to your classes? How do we do? And the only reason I didn't take advantage of that was because of respect for my old coach. And on June 6th of this year, I finally wrote a letter and I said, listen, man, thank you for everything, but I really need to go share my voice, because
absolutely,
communication has changed. And you may not see it, other people may not see it, but the fact of the matter is that today I got in my car and I drove here. I haven't had a key in my pocket for 6 months now. And I looked at my phone and my phone recognized my face and my phone turned on my freaking car.
Yeah.
So anyone who doesn't understand the value of what's happening on planet Earth right now and how the world is changing is absolutely batshit nuts. And they're stuck in prehistoric times. I just don't know. I don't know how else to say it.
Well, I think think about this. It's such a major shift in humanity. We've never experienced this. And then all of a sudden we're the ones experiencing it. And we've learned off of history. When has history we ever had a fucking iPhone where we're talking across with each other like this? It's never happened before. Right.
And Colton, it's so interesting you say that. But again, like the game I'm playing right now is like, okay, I know we're here now. And I know that in the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to take 6 to 7 years for people to catch up with what I know is going to happen by next year.
Yep.
And it's all about making, I just want to win at a much bigger level and help other people win at a much bigger level.
You know what's crazy? Because obviously Bitcoin has been the thing everyone's talking about, right? Cryptocurrency, which that's cool. I think that's a great place. People have made some money. But you know what I think is super awesome? We're going to see some growth in you and my industry is with this blockchain. Imagine now we don't have to have all these notaries. It's going to change the entire paper process of a real estate transaction, of loan documents, and be able to verify and authenticate that. How is that going to shift the flow of business if people aren't on top of that? You know what I mean? Blows my mind.
It's Colton, I just yesterday text my COO, which and this is a little side note, but that was another big lesson that I learned this year. I posted something on social media yesterday. It was kind of funny. It was a little conversation I had with my brother Anthony. And I told him, I said, he was asking for some coaching and he was kind of struggling with whether to invest in himself or not. And I said, listen, do you want to be rich? And he says, yeah. And I go, well, then you can't be a little bitch, and I made that into a cool little post because I was being a little bitch when I was afraid to hire my chief operating officer because it was a huge salary, And so anyhow, lesson to everybody, you can't be afraid to invest in yourself. You can't be afraid to grow, because then you're just going to stay stuck. And that's, if I could challenge every single one of you watching, listen to me. How the hell do you plan to not be the same human being that you are today exactly 12 months from now? That's the most important thing that we should be talking about right now, because everyone in real estate, it seems like, stays stuck because of a predetermined number that they think means a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that if anybody could hear this message, it's forget about the money. Learn to grow and develop as a human being. Learn to grow and develop in your skill sets. Learn to grow and develop in your leadership capacity. Learn to grow and develop in your expectations. Learn to see the world and learn to see what's really happening. Look to your left, look to your right. Look at how humans think. As a result of the way they think, look at what they receive in their life and what they don't receive in their life, and start playing game at that level where every single year you are pushing yourself to grow. And then when you start playing game like that, that's how you go from freaking, I can't stress this enough, people. We went from 0 to, yeah, I mean, it's just, it's incredible, but it's just because we're playing the game up here where most people are playing it in their pocketbooks, trying to make an extra 10 G's, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just.
It's so interesting you say that. Everyone drop a hell yes in the comments if you're done being a little bitch. I recently redefined fear for me, right? Because it's one of my away values. And so if I'm consistently and inappropriately just being a little bitch instead of just being connected with my true source inside and my God level, that's fear, man, right? Being that little bitch is what's it's keeping us forward from moving forward, right? Like, I love what Helen Keller said. Life is a daring adventure. Let's fucking go for it. Let's do it. So what is your daring adventure going that you're ahead of the game? You're playing at a bigger level that you can bring to these guys. Where's this game going for you?
I mean, I can't say too much, but I will tell you this. My COO is in Hawaii right now. He arrives tomorrow. And I told him, no matter what happens, the last 2 weeks of the year, we're going to the country club. We're getting a room. We're sitting there because I see where the entire industry is going, and I want to be ahead of the game. I don't want to react to it. I want to make sure that the people that follow us and are learning from us as a result of their relationship with us are ahead of the game versus behind it. And I think people really got to be careful with who they listen to because too many people are just stuck in the past right now.
I think Colton, people are stuck in the ego too. They're stuck in the ego and the past.
Yeah, they're stuck in ego because the ego, again, just wants to keep you safe and wants to make you right. You can look all around you guys and you can see all the changes that have happened just this year. And you need to remove that ego and really wake up to realize, guys, that there's two types of business builders. There's income builders and empire builders. And the ones that are going to change this world are the empire builders. Income builders are only focused on making an income next year. And again, that's another shift that you can really make. I talk about this a lot on the podcast, but if you could just shift away from being an income builder is nothing more, people, than a glorified, overpaid employee. An empire builder is strategizing and thinking about the future and thinking about how they can grow their business and how they can grow their empire.
Well, I think about this, like, as this begins to shift, what are the core fundamentals that you've got to keep in the business that are not going away? Because there's basic principles that are in there. What are those principles that have got to stay as we see this shift happening, as we experience the shift?
What's up, Alyssa and Hector? How are you guys? Yeah. Look, I would say number one, and again, Colton, this is so many people have a hard time with these basics. You know, number one is wake up every morning early. You know, people think we're crazy. We've been doing this forever. Now it's getting a little bit more popular, but everybody surrounding us wakes up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, we're at the gym, we're exercising. There's something special about that. I don't care what happens with technology. You can control how you feel and how your body is operating. The second thing is you have got to get better at communicating. You cannot be afraid of confrontation. You cannot be afraid when someone tells you, let me think about it. You can't be afraid of any of that stuff. No matter what happens, whether you're getting leads online or wherever you're getting them from, you've got to be able to communicate in a powerful fashion. The third thing, people, you need to wake up. You need to get way better at social media, and you need to build a brand and a presence in social media. I've been talking about this for like 4 years, and you guys have all seen me do it if you follow me. And I hired a pretty substantial media agency for 2018. We're gonna go all in with it, and I really think people need to look at their perception of themselves. And once they fix that, and once they see and realize how great they can really become, then that'll start impacting the way the world sees them, and it'll increase their brand. It'll increase their reach. Social media is probably the most important thing you can work on. I mean, to be honest with you guys.
The brand inside of it, I absolutely agree. And I think more along with that, not only how powerful you can become, but how powerful you are right now. what can you do now, right? Like, how can I appreciate and love even more now? How can I grow my business even more now? How can I increase my presence online even more now, right? That's the reality of it. And powerlessness has become the new power. You're seeing it all over in the media today, that people are getting their power from being the victim. And then what happens is these victims, they end up manipulating a weak individual, right? And if you get manipulated by this victim world out there, you become a pleaser. You got to stop pleasing, and you got to start doing. You got to start being. You got to start creating. So what is the other advice? Because I know you got just a few minutes left. What's your time clock before you got to skid off?
I got like 6 or 7.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, the other advice is you have to have vision.
Yep.
I look, and I tell everybody around me, if you look at our journey, and if you look at what's happened and by the way, it hasn't been perfect. We haven't not made our mistakes. We haven't not really screwed up in some instances, but that's just called life and business. You're always evolving. You're always growing. I think about like the New York Yankees. I'm a Yankees fan, right?
Yep.
I think about the Yankees and the fact that, the last couple of years, like, they haven't been all that good, And then all of a sudden last year, like, they snuck into the playoffs, and I mean, they lost to the Astros, who ended up going on to win the World Series. And then all of a sudden this year, boom, they land Giancarlo Stanton. And it's like, you got to think of business as a long game, you know, it's a long-term perspective. And with that long-term perspective, you got to be clear with your vision. And when you're clear with your vision, then the day-to-day stuff becomes a lot easier. I think we got to get mentally stronger, Colton. I think that on a day-to-day basis in this business, too many people let way too much bother them and ruin their emotions. I think, like Tony Robbins says, there's only 2 states you can be in. There's a beautiful state or a suffering state. I think you got to protect yourself from ever getting into a suffering state. And I think that you do that by being careful with what you eat, what you watch, what you consume, and the people that you allow in your life.
Green juice. So check this out, guys. Trade, and Tony talks about this, to be in that beautiful state, trade your expectation for appreciation. You'll change your entire life, right?
Yeah.
Going back, if you weren't in that 1-bedroom townhome and your goal to pay your rent, would you be the creator and the leader you are today without that grace?
No, it's so funny. And this is for everybody, and, especially for men, and, ladies, I got a soft heart for you as well. But this one is big. This is a lesson that I learned. There was a mentor in my life, and when I went through, I was in my early 30s, and anyhow, I was kind of depressed. I was bummed out. And I was talking to him, and he said, "How old are you?" And I go, "I think I was 32 at the time, whatever the case may be." He goes, "Oh, that's perfect." And I go, "Why?" He says, "Listen to me." He says, "I've never met a man who ends up doing great things that doesn't go through some catastrophic, life-changing, altering event in their early 30s. He said, and I said, "Really?" He says, "Yeah." And he says, and the reason why it happens is, and it's typically right around when you start to have kids. He says, the reason why it happens is because, no, true story. He says, the reason why it happens is because before you have kids, your life view is nothing but selfish. It's all about you. And he says, God has a way of humbling you. And I remember he told me this, and he says, "Listen, I know that what you're going through is tough right now, but I want you to know that it's preparing you for who you are going to become, and true to life, Colton, the reality is that, I was making $1.5 million, $1.5 million a year at 27 years old. Like, I look at most 27-year-olds, they're barely trying to figure out what they want to do in life. And I was making that kind of money. And as a result, my ego just kind of exploded a little bit. And so God had a way of like smacking me down and saying, "Hey, listen, it's time for you to wake up," because there's no way that I could be able to relate to people at the level that I want to relate to them with that big of an ego. So no, the answer is absolutely not. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't go through that. It was the greatest blessing of my life.
You know what I'm really impressed about you that I noticed, and I don't know if anyone else that follows Danny noticed this. You had your event Relentless a few months ago, right? When was that?
June.
Right. So you had your event Relentless. You actually had Grant Cardone that was originally, I think, going to come and speak of that, and it shifted to Gary Vaynerchuk, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if people notice this, but this is my hallucination. And I think what Grant has done has really empowered a lot of people. I personally believe he is coming from another space.
If you ask me, I'll tell you, but go ahead.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to ask you. So go ahead and tell me. I'm asking the question now.
I've never discussed this publicly. Never.
Well,
Ever.
now's the time. Empower people.
Does everybody want to hear the story?
Drop a yes in the comments if you're ready for this story. I think it's really important because I observed this, and I think these are great leaders like Danny that need to step up like this. The way our community is and humanity is, we need more leaders like Danny. So let's hear the story. Let's hear what the leadership has to say.
So look, I won't go into too many details, but I will tell you this story, and then I'll end with this. I think more important than anything, guys, is your values. Your value system is what drives the decisions that you make. And so I remember, we were in Palm Springs, California, and I remember that my friend Oscar Mendoza, I know he's out there laughing right now, and my brother, they were really big on Grant, right? Oh, this guy Grant, so forth and so on. And I had never heard of the guy. I said, sure, whatever the case may be. Let's see if we can invite him to Relentless, right? And sure enough, we invited him to Relentless. I think the bill was 30 grand or something. I don't know what it was. And at first, I wasn't comfortable with that number. It's the first time I ever paid that much money, Anyways, I said, let's just go all in. That's just the kind of guy I am. I just go all in. And people won't really believe this until you really get to know me. But for me, I was thinking more than anything, like, what a great exposure this would be to all of the people at our company and all of the people that are going to be at the event, Well, again, I don't want to get into too many details, but within a couple of months of the event, it became very, very evident that our value system was in complete unalignment with the value system of their organization. I believe there's a right way to do business, and I believe that there's a wrong way to do business. I believe that there's ways of, you could have integrity, you could not have integrity. I believe that there's just, forget about business. There's just a right way of being a human being and the wrong way,
Drop a yes if you agree with that, guys.
There's just, and I think that that's more important to me than money. I know it always will be. And people know that about me. I could give a damn about money because I don't say this in an egotistical way. I can make a lot of it. So it doesn't bother me. I don't stress over that. I stress more than anything about doing what's right, And so anyhow, their organization decided to do some things that weren't in alignment with our value system. More power to them. They are who they are. We are who we are. And then I just started to feel convicted, where I was excited to bring them in front of our people. I started to think that there is no way on earth that I could bring this to our people.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't, it's not what we're about.
Yeah.
And so I got on the phone. I said, look, I don't want you guys anywhere near our people. So we're done, And so we canceled it. And to their credit, they said, well, their attitude was, all right, well, screw you, basically, which is cool, whatever. Yeah. But then at that point, I had a decision to make. And I started thinking, and I said, son of a gun, like, we told the world this guy's coming, and now he's not coming. What are we going to do? And in true, Intero fashion, we got to go bigger, all right, how much bigger can you go? And then the name Gary V was thrown out, right? And I go, she's Louise. If that guy costs this much, I know that guy's just going to cost more, basically, right? Sure enough, it was 3 times more. I didn't flinch. I just said, do it, and we'll figure it out. We had 1,000 people there at our event. It was an absolute mind-blowing event. I think anybody that was there probably went for Gary V, yet they got so much out of the event in general that they were very grateful to be there. And our new event vision is it's a 2-day retreat January 18th and 19th in San Diego.
Oh,
and
nice.
we got just over 500 people that are registered. It's going to be incredible. So I'd love for everybody to.
How can those guys watching live or recorded also drop an L or an R if you're live, drop an L if you're recorded, drop an R. How can these guys find out about your event? Where can they go?
Yeah, you go to you know what? How could I share this? Could I share this here?
If you in the comment box, there's a little place you can type it in the little comment box, or you can come share it after we close it out. Come back and have your assistant just type it in.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. It's Empire University without the E. EmpireUniversity.com/vision. Yeah, a bunch of people that are going are already here right now, but yeah, it's going to be great. Absolutely fantastic. And we're going to work on, Colton, the things that nobody works on. I started Empire University because I was a part of a coaching system that I noticed was teaching people to be highly paid employees.
Mm-hmm.
And realtors don't get this.
Yeah.
Realtors don't get that. Every single year you start at zero. Like every year it's all right, let me do it again, right?
Yeah.
You go to a seminar that basically makes you go and grind and work hard. It makes you feel convicted because you're not working hard. And it's like this vicious cycle, and nobody's growing as a business person. Nobody's growing as a business person. And so that's what Empire University is all about. It's about helping people to grow as business people.
And at a time, those values might have served you to get up on the phone and go and do it, make it happen.
Yes.
But then you got to shift. So you might have similar values to someone, but your rules on what those values are different. So that's why I wanted you to talk about that, man. Appreciate you being here. I know your time is come to an end here. If you guys want to learn more about this, go check out empireuniversity.com/vision. It looks like Lauren put it into the comments. Thank you for sharing that. Danny, appreciate you being here, man. What can I do to serve you?
Nothing, man. This was absolutely fantastic. I'm glad. I knew I made it tough on you to get this going. So I appreciate your relentlessness. Just love what you're doing, man. Keep up the great work. And I just appreciate the time this morning.
Cool, man. Appreciate you. Continue to crush it. And by the way, you've got an amazing individual in your organization named Lee Barrison, great friend of mine. He is a stallion. Yeah. So
he really is.
I'm glad you're in business with him, man. He's a good dude. Thanks, man.
He's a real good dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you guys at Vision. Bye-bye.
See ya. All right, gang. That was Danny Morel. If you guys enjoyed that, give me a bunch of thumbs up. I want to recap on this interview because I've actually been trying to get this interview, and that's just it, right? Like, how do you try? You either you do or you do not. I've been actually going after to schedule a time with Danny for probably since June, right? And he said, yeah, let's do it. The guy put me off. Yeah, let's do it. And I just kept calling him out on it. And finally, because someone saw that, they sent him a text message, and he responded because he's so relentless, I'm going to do it. So a couple things that I want to share with you guys. Number one is, even though he was hitting $1.5 million at a 27-year-old, he still had to break through and have a life-changing experience because his values at that time were probably hustle 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. And then he hit a window. His ego was leading, and he spoke about that. So be very, very aware and question, where are your values? Are you working from an ego-based place? Or are you working from the spirit? You're working from the soul. And I do want to just share with you guys, because I always rep the I Love My Life shirts. The WGR brand is what we're about. We're about creating epic lives. But I want to share with you because for the longest time, my mission has been, and this is the first time I'm announcing this, my mission has been create massive value for others, empower them to act, and invite them to share. And I still hope you guys continue on with that, but I have recently changed my mission because my life is shifting. My values have shifted. My values before, number one, were commitment. Do what I say I'm going to do, sometimes more, but never less. Number two, it was all about the hustle. Every moment I'm awake, produce results for every minute. And number third, success, produce more results. Now that sounds like a great thing to do in the grinding world, but it gets exhausting. And it served me for a time to build an amazing business that generates amazing revenue, right? My mission has changed because my value has changed. My value number one is healthy and vital. Okay. Anytime I smile, anytime I exercise, anytime I eat green drink, anytime I drink water, anytime I take care of my body, because guess what? My body is my vehicle for my mind and my soul, and I got to take care of it. So that's become my number one value. Number two, oh, I love it. It's love, warmth, and compassion. If you guys have followed me for a while, you know I am an intense motherfucker. I'm learning to deliver the message of love in warmth and compassion. So you may notice some intensity a lot still going on, but I'm going to start to deliver it in a little bit warmer way because it just feels better. And it's anytime I smile, anytime I breathe, anytime I hug, anytime I see someone smile, anytime I do this. And then the third thing for me where my value has really shifted immensely is by trading my expectations for appreciation. And it's changed my entire world in the fact that appreciation and connection is now my third most important value. So it's any time that I can connect with more with love and warmth and compassion, and I can do it in a way that empowers people. Okay. So my new mission is simple. The purpose of my life, and I know this. I feel it, I see it, I hear it, I know it. The purpose of my life is to breathe in love and give it right back with a fucking smile, guys. And that's what I'm going to do for you over and over again. I can promise you that I will deliver that. And what you can see with Danny Morel is his values had to shift. And as he's growing this, that's why I brought that up. And I was so grateful he opened up publicly with me. And it sounds like I'm the first one he talked to me about, or talked to anyone about, is the fact that he actually had Grant Cardone coming in. Y'all know Mr. G, Uncle G. I've read his books. In fact, I even recently said, I'm never going to go to a 10X event, a growth con. And he's going to continue to grow. He's going to deliver value for people that have similar values. I've just realized it's not my value. It is not my value. So learn from that. What are your values? And then what are your rules that create your values? And those are your towards. I shared with you my top three, and I've got about 17 really clear toward values, and I've got really clear definitions for them, rules for them, and I've got my away values: powerlessness, fear, guilt, shame. But now my rules for fear have changed. If, for example, with fear, if I continually be a little bitch instead of feeling love from God and from myself and taking the action that I know I'm here to do, that's fear. So what you do is you make your goals so hard that they stretch you, okay? But make your values so easy you feel good all the time. Okay. The other thing that I really love that Danny brought up and is the reality is that communication is shifting. The patterns are increasing at a rapid rate. You got to learn those patterns. You got to learn the digital patterns. You got to build your brand online, but you got to be able to still communicate in 3 dimensions, be able to, when someone is manipulating you, because powerlessness is the new power, you've got to be able to stand up and say, no, this is how it is. You cannot take no's, but you got to deliver with love and warmth and compassion. So I really love that he talks so much about the spirit. And by the way, I'm going to change in the notes. I had said $20 million, but apparently it's $40 million a year in revenue. So if you guys learned something from this today, give me your favorite emoji in the comments below. Hey, Robert, appreciate you being on here. What do you value? Then align with it. That's amazing. Great share there. Judy, thanks for being on here. Johnny, Kelly, Kevin Lanyon, part of the Real Estate Hustlers Mastermind. Looks like Roger, Danny, or Channy from New York live. Jason, Lauren, I appreciate you sharing that link too for Empire University. Also, guys, go ahead and check out fearlessagent.com if you guys want to learn how to create business right now in the real estate world. You want to create financial freedom. Obviously, you guys got me at financialfreedomnation.com. We're expanding there to teach you cash flow management, but more importantly, how do you create financial freedom, not only with the how-to techniques, but also with the emotional side and the financial blueprint, because your blueprint is messed up. Believe it or not, if you cannot get ahead financially, if you're not growing your business, if you're not creating passive residual income, if you're not be able to create freedom so you don't have to work 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, you got to recreate your values, you got to recreate your blueprint, and that's what we help you do inside of Financial Freedom Nation. Also, if you guys want to be inside of my inner circle, you can check out Real Estate Hustlers, its Facebook group, but also we're having a couple of applications going out right now for new members to join the Real Estate Hustlers Mastermind. Our next event's going to be in the spring in Scottsdale, Arizona, so you're definitely going to want to be there. Kelly, I appreciate you saying that. I want to appreciate all of you guys for being on here, because I think I have not appreciated you enough. I've almost expected it because I'm so in the grind mode. I expected everyone else to be in the grind mode because that's just what was embedded into my nervous system, was embedded in my values, and embedded in who I am, and it served me. And yes, those values can help serve you, but more importantly, love, connection, health, vitality. These are the things that really life is about. Doesn't matter what that number is that you reach. Doesn't matter where your business grows to. Doesn't matter all of the materialistic things. Yes, it's cool to drive a Maserati, or, you know, I drive my wife drives a Land Rover. I drove the FJ Cruiser, which is one of my favorite vehicles, right? We do cool stuff. Like, that stuff's cool. The experiences are cool. The treasure chest is cool. But you know what's even cooler is the contribution and the value that we create, because things are shifting. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was about competition. It's not about competition anymore. Get rid of the powerlessness and move into your own power and own that, because today it's about collaboration. What can we do? What can I feed you energy with? And what can you feed me energy with? And how does that explode to a next level? Thank you guys for being on here. For creative value, give me your favorite emoji. Go crazy right now with the emojis right now, so I know that interviews like this with amazing people like Danny Morel, amazing entrepreneurs, business owners, I want to know that this delivers value for your life, because that's my mission. Breathe in love and give it right back with a smile. And I have the opportunity to do that, and I'm going to do it every single moment. So one of the ways that I most appreciate and connect is the moment I wake up, I appreciate being here. Every time I see my wife, I hug her. That's appreciation. Every time I see my kids, I smile, and we return those smiles back and forth. It's those things that really matter. Sometimes we're living so far in the future that we're missing this moment. Or the worst is to live so far in the past that you're not even present or in the future. You're stuck because there's so much pain there. It's time to let it go, guys. It's time to win your game. You are no BS. Tell it like it is. Thanks here. Irvin, thanks for being on. Michael Steele, another real estate hustler on here. Eric from New Jersey. Manny, thanks for being on here. Boom. Make sure to hit that share button. If you did not see it from the beginning, go check it out now. Go to fearlessagent.com. Let us know. Also, get ready for the WGR Academy coming out here soon. We'll see you guys.